Hello, my friends. My name is Jalen Alea, and today I was exploring an abandoned Mercury mine. And this mine holds a very unique space in my heart. Outside of the actual mine is a mine shaft, which I first went to during a renegade music festival that my friends and I threw in the middle of the forest. And this festival for me was a huge gateway to expression. It was centered around just the radical release of self and the free flow of passion and weirdness, the celebration of weirdness through each other. It was like a circus where everyone who came brought the party. It was called It, and the namelessness of it, the ambiguousness of it, allowed everyone to create the experience. And it when I think of and feel freedom and expression and beauty, joy, youth, like these in their peak and epitome lived at this event, an experience that was all free for everyone to come. All the friends DJ'd, performed, and it was just like weird as hell and beautiful. So that's the mine shaft, and everyone brought paint and tagged up the whole place. It just looked like a paint bomb went off. The mine shaft is beneath a mine, and a mine above it. I hadn't been inside until today. Today, I went inside, and it's really interesting. It's like this giant opening in earth, and I remember walking inside. My friend asked how many people I thought died in here, and he said it had to have been over 100. He spoke of canaries and how they used to use a canary because a canary would die first if there was any mercury exposure. There's a bunch of bats, and essentially this mine felt pretty spooky. It had a very haunted vibe, and it's pretty sketchy going down and inside. And the first kind of tunnels that we found were kind of like deep cliffs into pockets of just darkness that we didn't know if we'd be able to come back up from. So we eventually found this one pocket, and as we're exploring, there's this like deep ledge, and we were deciding to go home afterwards, and we saw this book on the other side of this ledge, and my buddy said, "Ooh, that looks really interesting," and I agreed. And so I went down, and it was kind of a sketchy climb down to go and get this book, but I picked it up, and there's still some light from the outside world behind me. It's essentially like this giant opening going down that then spans out almost like a spider legs on all sides in a bunch of different tunnels. So I still have the main light of the tunnel, and I'm looking, as I go and retrieve this book, I'm looking out into just this giant abyss of blackness. And there's all of these rocks that just go really steep down before me, and I pick up this book, and I begin reading a page. And it's talking about magic with a K, and these board games and the creating of worlds. And then I realize that this page is part of a book. I pick up the rest of the book, and it's a diary of a wimpy kid, but whoever's book it was had crossed out the word wimpy and wrote dead. Diary of a dead kid. And as I began looking through this book, I began to become aware of just how disturbed the space was. And many times written inside, there was words like, everyone will die, diary of a killer, And on the last page it says, "And I'm still here," as if the blackness itself was looking out at me, and I could see the person lurking beneath the shadows. And immediately I rose to greet the presence, the spirit who was there, and I spoke to them. Yamaya, warimaya sheshe sikia sukwar unguesa isita. Umari mungueshe shinsai simfuar ungusu kueshe kasunsai. Armueshe sheshe sinsekiar. What science ungu. Now, this tongue is a way that I interact with self beyond and deeper than the mind's comprehension, than understanding. When I interact with this language, I feel myself speaking in the same way that I would listen to and play music. It's feeling, it's emotion, it's intention, and it's attention beyond thought, beyond words, beyond definition. There's a purity to it. There's a sincerity, an authenticity, and a realness that opens. And I find in expanding into this space, I become aware of much more of myself. I become aware of a part of me, or the essence of me, that lives beyond my body. I become aware of a part of me who knows exactly how to engage and interact with this space that my mind would, quite frankly, probably freak out from. Though when I interact with this space, this tongue, this intonation, I feel myself able to look at the spirit in the eyes and say, "I'm here," and say there is someone and something who loves you, and recognize and witness the anguish, the torture, the torment that this being has been through. And in this tongue, in this tone, I hold myself in the center, in the eye of the storm I am, and pour from my heart this essence of love, this song, this gracing, this blessing. From this tone, from this language, I invoke the presence of all of those who are my family, who are my friends, who love me, who guide me through this journey, this experience. And in this space, I am surrounded in this protection, surrounded in this presence of God, evoking the God inside, the God outside. And in this space, I am a pouring fountain of love to this essence, to the spirit. Now, this person was really hurt, and after speaking and creating a ceremony in a little shrine to pour a fountain through, I heard the call to bring this creature home with me, the spirit, this presence, and free, help facilitate the freeing. And so I'm here now with you to open the book and to share, to see what is inside, to allow the space to speak, and to speak in a space which is safe. Right when I got home, I brought the book and I cradled it in my tarot cards. I sat it upon a tantric book, a book of spells and magic and the Enochian angels. A dream walking book of the Sandman universe. My dogs, Duke's ashes. I cleansed the space, cleansed the room. I sang and brought sound into the space, into the ground. Cleansed the room, cleaned the room, created a circle of protection, which my room has quite a few shrines. It's over here right now. You can see kind of through the drum rack, maybe. But it's over in my owl shrine where I've got, if you can imagine, 2 owl wings going this way, the tail feathers, a mask, candle, the books, the tarot cards, fire, and a few other elements. Yeah, so I wanted to share this. I want to share this experience with you. I know it's going to be a deep dive, and I wanted to just share the process of this experience and bring you along the journey of this freedom, this freeing. I find that this space that I went to today holds the extreme of the full spectrum of human being, of the beauty and the truth and the magic of what it means to be alive, and then the flip side, where that magic is turned and it feels terrible. And so I'm here to allow my heart to be open, to be seen, to allow this hurt to be expressed into the world. And I feel by seeing it, allowing it, accepting it, embracing it, and just having the heart open with love, new water is able to flow through and transmute this space, clear these stagnant energies, and it's by reaching down into the deepest depths where we find our light, heaven through hell's doors. It's the mending of the weakest chain, not weak as in strength, but the most difficult, the deep, the scariest parts of ourselves and psyche that are the most important to see. And I feel by reaching into the space within Earth, within Gaia, within our collective psyche, by allowing this to be seen, embraced, loved, and held as part of us as a family, we all evolve. And there's a lot of crazy things going on in our time right now, and I know that this book really comes from these crazy times. I feel in what I've read thus far from this book, the person who wrote it is really quite crucified by culture. There's a lot of talk about police brutality, about being black, about being a transgender, and this person who's the author is here now in this room with me. I can feel them, and I have chills on my body, and I'm holding myself in my own center where I can hold another, and I'm not afraid of the spirit. I am here as a lover to it, to this space, and I am facilitating I'm facilitating love. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm just facilitating love, being love and feeling love. And I feel at the end of the day like that's what the magic is. That's what the beauty of this life is this presence of being love. So I want to share this process with you, and invite us to greet that which we fear as a gatekeeper, as a fountain of heart, knowing that there's nothing that can happen that will turn off this love and this beacon. I'm choosing here to emanate it and to create a space in my own room which can cradle and cradles another to feel it, to free ourselves. And I'm protected. I've called in protection, and I feel it around me as well. So without further ado, I'd like to share this book, this space, this heart with you. Now, one thing I find very important about this process is to continual respecting of the space, acknowledging of the space, and witnessing of the space. What that means is I am creating energetic safeties. And in doing so, just cradling this presence and the intention of being one with it. And in doing so, I'm both protecting them and myself. It takes a lot to bring a project like this home, but I realize that my home, my room, is the most powerful place that I reside, and I trust the shrines that I've created here. I trust the time that I pour in here, and I trust here to be a space of evolution. And so, here we go. Now, Duke is here with us tonight. The finest of wines, medallions of Venezuela Rose here facilitating. We have our friend. So I'm going to open this with you. This is the book, New York Times bestseller, Killer, is written underneath. The first page is Find All the Notes. These are all the people that have been crossed out, saying no longer. This title page is Diary of a Dead Kid. Roderick kills. I am still here. When I read the note that said I am still here, it was really quite an intense ocean that overwashed me while I was at the mine. It was the moment where I realized, like, there's a spirit dwelling in this space that was incredibly tormented and tortured and came here to reside, into a Mercury mine where undoubtedly people have died, a highly toxic chemical to us. Though this was had to have been a new case, likely, I would imagine, since the Black Lives Matter protests have been unfolding. But when I first felt I'm still here, it was like this being was looking right at me. And yeah, I mean, it was like, there's part of it that's really scary when we come face to face with possession or demons. I don't really resonate with either of those words. Though I feel the initial connotation promotes a feeling that is similar. I don't believe in them, mostly because I don't agree with the entirety of the connotation. That being said, I was looking right into the eyes of it, and this is a space where when fear takes over, if we were to run, it would chase another. Same thing as when you see like a bear in the wilderness, you turn around and run from it, you're fucked. Different if it's a mom and she's already charging you, but it's important and essential to stand one's ground and look it dead in the eye. And because it feeds off of fear. And so when we look at it in fear, it can feed off us. And that's where the problems come through. When we stand in our power, nothing can touch us. Nothing can touch us. We are safe. We are one with our divinity. We are in the throne. And it's essential to know this, to walk in this path. It is essential to know the tone of being in one's own divinity. And with this, we can go anywhere. We can do anything. With this, we embrace our own infinity to create, to do, to be, to breathe. So, yeah, first, that's essential. And I sang to it, I acknowledged it, I danced with it, I moved with it, I called open a portal into the sky, into the pantheon of the gods. Olympus, you could say, is a metaphor to it. I have a unique experience with the pantheon. I feel it as a council of higher and ever higher selves. And when I open this doorway, which is the sensation of feeling this space above, or imagining the space above open, spiral, and a council of elders, like the ancestry, all encircling and casting down beautiful vibes, like music, like raining water. And I sing this water down and I allow it to pour into the mind. And it's important to know that my intention isn't to get it to leave or to make it do anything. I'm not saying you have to go here, you have to do something. I'm pouring water into a space. I'm letting it breathe and giving it oxygen. And healing unfolds naturally through this. I'm not trying to get it to do anything. I'm giving. There is no expectation for what happens. I'm giving. And yeah, there's like spirits have, I feel, this is all my experience, right? Which everyone is very different. For me, I continue to feel like my job isn't to get things to do things, but rather to like create tones which naturally harmonize higher fields, higher, not better, perhaps more intelligent. It's like every hive has a peak operational capacity to some degree, and then there are broken parts in the hive where it's like this branch, this division of the mind isn't doing very well, isn't supporting, it's eating itself. And there's harmonization where things work together. And so that's really what I'm doing, and I'm pouring water of harmonization. That doesn't mean the dissonant notes are bad. It means that we are calling forth resolution so that the dissonant spaces, which the dissonant spaces may be interwoven into the tapestry in a way that feels true and cohesive and all-inclusive of what we are. Especially when I start tapping into work like this, all of these different noises begin happening in the room. Clicks, pops, cracks, thuds, and I used to think of things that it could be scientifically to some degree that would make it okay, so that's not, there's nothing weird out of the ordinary. And when I would experience flashes in imagination of like scary things, I was convinced myself it was just imagination. But as I'm speaking, I'm just seeing like flashes of like the girl from The Ring next to me, and this presence upon my shoulder. And it's important to, I feel like, acknowledge it right now in a way which is also acknowledging the presence of me all around in the room, encompassing and crafting a current through this space that is free, that is impassioned, that is invigorated and animated with life. And so I see this scary face or person, feel the animation moving through them. I feel the spirit of her, of him, touching the greater essence of me, this council, this pantheon, this tribe of elders who are together coming alive and dance as lovers in a romance with this essence, this presence, and feel it free the entanglings in psyche, feel it free ourselves. So this book, it comes from a place, sounds like somebody who's transgender and black and feeling the brunt of police brutality, feeling the pain of not being accepted by anyone, feeling completely shut out. And it looks like it's from the mind of somebody who's become so dejected, rejected by life, they've decided to become a killer. And it says a lot of potent words, but I feel the primary presence is that of immense rejection and a bullying of the world, so that the person bullied gets back at the world. And I feel this is something that's so embedded in our culture. Like, how is it that in the American culture we hear about shootings all the time when we don't even bat an eye anymore? It's so commonplace. Like, we are living in a system, in a society in which this is a normal thing. Of course, it's heartbreaking, but I feel it's times like this where we have to look at the system that's producing this as a phenomenon, as a trend, and look beyond the individual people and look into the system. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what it does. And it's the flourishing of self and psyche and presence and being. It's the ignition of passion. It's the celebration of authenticity. You do you, and that's dope. That's cool. That's awesome, whatever this is. So, I acknowledge you, David, as my friend, my brother, and know that though you are no longer here in physical form, you are free. You are free, brother. I love you. I love you. I love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Yeah. Oh. He just wants to be loved. That's what we all want. You know, so many people would see that and be like, fuck that, and just throw it away. And we curse the devil when he's the one who needs the most love. We've created these constructs of fear, what it means to allow David inside. I invite you, David, inside my body to walk with me home, to transmute through me, to breathe through me. I welcome Gaia to move through me. Earth, Mother, I love her. I welcome you to sing yourself into liberation, truth, to cleanse your body through mine. Let this body be a vessel, an instrument of circulation, of creativity, of passion, of expression. I welcome all inside this kingdom. The hurt, the healing, the freeing, the feeling, the powerful and the weak. I welcome all of you inside of me. I welcome all of you inside of me. I welcome Jay. I welcome all of you inside of me. Jay. I welcome all of you inside of me. And I know that this exploration of these minds today was and is a dream, a metaphor of my own internal landscape and psyche. There's nothing of this earth that is not me. I see, I know, I feel, I hear, I heal. Thank you for the opportunity to see this experience, this expression of another's being and body and psyche as my own. Thank you for the opportunity to witness this shadow and bring life to it. Thank you for this opportunity to learn, to hear you, to see you, to feel myself as and through you. Thank you for this time and space to be so deep in heart. Thank you for it. Thank you for arriving here today, Jalen. I love you. I feel the presence of this book easing. I feel a fountain pouring through. This is this little setup. I don't know how much you can see this right now, but at my dog's ashes, the burning man in temple from 3 years in a row in this jar with a pinecone type beautiful unfolding of a giant. That's right on top of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I have this giant crystal, this beautiful painting by Ela Rose, magnificent artist, right on top where the boy's brother is pushing him down and transmuting that motion, and then casting this rock over it, which was a dear friend ever gave to me. This crystal, black, and this is the Shadow Walker. And it's on top of a bed of wisdom. And I can just feel the presence easing. It's like a knot that when you just push the pressure on it, first it hurts. It feels like a lot of intensity, a lot of waves of chills and flashes of fear that are things that are like almost objectively scary, like seeing the girl of the ring or like the grudge like on my shoulder, just like essentially trying to creep me out, trying to scare me. And then with the calm and the grace, the composure that I bring to the scene, the witnessing of the overarching psyche, the composing of this field, this current, this council that lives around me, and the reign of this council, the song, the singing, the breath. I can just feel this presence lifting. Space is becoming lighter, and we're walking home. Yeah, we're walking. Yeah, we're walking home. Okay, guys. Thank you for being here with, and yeah, I love you. I love you.